your hosts, Tony and Dak. And today, we're breaking down the Super Bowl 60 recap. Big game. For those of you that are more casual ball watchers, you're probably like, this Super Bowl sucked. Me, I loved it, but I'm also a defensive guy. Dak, we'll get into how we both feel in our first and 10, kicking us off with our overall review of the game. As I foreshadowed, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like groundbreaking, my favorite Super Bowl of all time by any means, but I enjoyed seeing the defense have its the defense and special teams. Let me be more clear. Defense and special teams. This was your game, and I was here for it.
Um, The punters were definitely on the field more than we've probably seen in the past. And it was the first Super Bowl since 2018 when we didn't have a touchdown in the first three quarters of the game.
Mm.
So like it would have been different, if they were marching down the field and and then there was like a big play or something like that. But like there was just three and outs, over three and outs on three and outs. And it was just like, okay. And then it's just like for the Super Bowl, we want to watch the commercials. But when there's a punt every three plays, we're gonna have to watch the same commercials over and over and over again. And we don't really care about commercials because they're oversaturated.
Oh, those
I wanted
commercials
a football
sucked.
game.
Those commercials
I
were
wanted a
terrible.
football game.
They haven't
And
been
I
good
mean,
in years.
I guess we got a football game in the fourth quarter, and it was a little interesting. The Patriots still had a chance, but
Hey now, let's not act like okay. So going back to those three and outs, that was the Patriots offense. The Seahawks offense was moving on that first drive. Sam Darnold was surprising me, and then after the first drive, it kind of went back to Sam Darnold. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was gonna have to write an apology letter to Sam Darnold in this podcast. I do not have to because he played exactly how I expected him to. If you watched,
his defense has allowed him to be the mediocre, not mediocre, but the average quarterback he is.
yeah, if you watched the preview, you would know that I said it came down to the defense, and it really, them really winning the game for them and making it so that Sam Darnold did not have to win them the game, and it was a winning recipe because they won. Um, important stats. I would say important stat of this game is that for the Patriots, there was only one player over 50 yards in receiving or rushing, and it was Mac Hollins with 78 yards receiving. That's important, and that tells you all you need to know about this game. 50
Yeah.
yards. There was no 50-yard rusher. The rushing yards were actually led by Drake May with 37.
37. Yeah, 37 yards was Drake May. That's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, that defensive line was there, but like, my thing is just like, we're going to talk about it later, but like, Josh McDaniels, man, like, you didn't do a great job. I'm
Uh,
sorry. But well, I'll talk about why I think he didn't do a great job, but terrible, terrible job. Terrible
yeah,
job. You had 2 weeks to prepare and you look like you didn't prepare at all.
yeah. I would say that the offensive line definitely didn't do him or Drake May any favors. But
Fair.
I hate to say it, but Drake May look like a deer in headlights. And again, I think a big part of it had to do with that offensive line. I think that's very important to talk about
I mean, they're
because
saying that this could be the best performance from a defensive line that we've ever seen in a Super Bowl.
that
And
defense was
I
stellar.
think it could be up there.
Yeah, it was awesome. And the blitz that Mike McDonald was throwing was awesome. Seeing Devin
Dude, Devin,
Witherspoon, a
amazing.
missile, dude, awesome. That's
Amazing.
why I'm
That
saying this
was
was a defensive and special teams Super Bowl, and I am here for all of that good stuff. Enough of this offense. We had all the scoring last year from the Eagles. Let's reel it in, bring it to the other half of the field, and give some special teamers the love too. Um, so next we have questions. You have a question for me.
yeah. So at what moment did you just think, or not even just think, but did you just know the Patriots had no chance? What moment in the game? Because I know you thought the Patriots were gonna do better than what they did. So what
Mm,
moment were you like, the Patriots don't have a chance? Like they're this is just
I admittedly, like legitimately, full 100% seriousness and transparency. I believed in them up until the fourth quarter, like with
I was right
minutes
there with
left.
you as well.
Yeah,
But
until he
like,
threw that pick, I was there. Until he threw like the behind the pass that was thrown behind the receiver. When the receiver
yeah,
run
the
was it was like
post,
a post like deep dig. Um,
yeah,
when he threw that behind the receiver, I was like, it's over. But up until that point, I was this is a game. This is a ball game,
like it's still a two
and
score game. Like they can be there, and
especially after that Patriots last drive with that Matt Collins touchdown, which I'll get to later. Like,
yeah, it was like that drive was
mm-hmm,
unbelievable. But like for me, I guess listening to the pregame and just listening to Kyle Shanahan talk
mm,
before the game, it was like him picking the Seahawks. It was just like, all right, he's got firsthand experience with this team.
mm-hmm,
I trust Kyle. He's going with his heart here versus Fred Warner was just like, nah, we don't like the Seahawks. Go Patriots. I was like,
yeah,
I think Kyle's onto something here, and I mean, he was. I mean, he's
yeah,
played him 3 times in the year. He, as any besides maybe Sean McVay, has seen this Eagles team just as much. Like
mm-hmm,
those two guys know this Eagles team, or not Eagles, Seahawks team,
mm-hmm.
and it's like, yeah,
Yeah, I think if there was anything, like there were inklings along the game, like just how uncomfortable Drake May looked the whole game. Like he had a lot of dump offs to to his running backs, and none of them looked good. Like they were like rainbow passes. They were all like they were never directly to the running back. The running back had to like stretch out and didn't have any time. And by then, one of the Seahawks' many corners were just rushing them, absolutely making sure they had like maybe a 2 yard gain at most. So there were inklings throughout the entirety of the game, but I wouldn't say up. I would say up until that last interception, I had faith that the Patriots had a chance. But after that, I was it's obviously wraps. I did really like that Kenneth Murray touchdown. Kenneth Walker. Sorry, not Kenneth Murray. That Kenneth Walker touchdown that was called back by the
oh
holding.
yeah.
I was like, it's over. That was a beautiful run too, but that was the
So,
most
so
clear as day
if you know what
hold.
Super Bowl squares are, I was
Yeah.
at a Super Bowl get together, and the guy that I was with, he he had 9 and 3,
Oh, jeez.
um, and so he was gonna win, or no, 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 that was before the touchdown, um, or something like that, 9 and 4, whatever it was,
It
and
ended 9-3.
yeah, so
Maybe it was.
he the touchdown, they still scored a field goal, I think, off of it or something. Or no, maybe they punted. I don't remember. But
Hmm.
anyways, the touchdown hurt him. And
Yeah.
so he was screaming, "No, no, no, no."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Yes, there's a flag, yes." And the
Yeah.
whole place is like, "Buddy, the game's already over. What are you cheering for?" And he's like, "My squares, my
Yeah.
squares, my
Yeah.
squares."
Yeah.
So it was just a fun and little environment to this game because it got boring at
Hmm.
times.
Yeah. It was, was just chilling in my apartment watching it with my wife and one of our friends, and they ended up just cheering for a shutout because it had never happened before at one point. Once they announced that, they're like, yeah, shutout. And then it didn't happen. They're like, oh, well, let's go Drake May. And they ended up just saying they felt bad for him because he got mollywopped all game. But
Yeah, Will
um,
Campbell allowed the most as we get into the
yeah,
to the
meet into the red
meat here.
zone. Yeah, get into
Well,
our
yeah,
red zone.
Will Campbell allowed the most pressures, 14 pressures, um, or either 14 or 19, one of the two. There's the two big numbers that is allowed,
Double
and
digits.
or 14 in a game, 19 or 14 in a game, 29 in a playoff run
Today, Junior.
is the pressures that he allowed in this playoffs
Yeah,
in the Super Bowl.
yeah. So, what stood out to you the most from both phases of the game? Obviously, like you just said, Will Campbell stood out. Anything else stick out to you? I got a couple of notes, but
Um, I mean, I see that you have Christian Gonzalez here
that's
later
not the
on,
yeah later on. Yeah,
but he stood out, man. Like if it wasn't for him, this would have been a bigger blowout than
this
what
would
it
have been
is.
a
Like
nasty
Jason
game.
had probably 2 touchdowns or one touchdown and maybe the other one was Shaheed, where he's just making a
Yeah,
diving hand tap the ball away save because
Yeah.
it could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just like the hidden yards battle, like not a lot of people will look at that. But like the hidden yards battle between punt and punt, between one putter and you're getting your starting field position, it truly mattered in that first possession or those
Mm-hmm.
first few possessions. That really stuck out to me, just because of the simple fact that that field goal happened because of that catch that shouldn't have been a catch. If that's not a or not, yeah, the first possession of the Cooper Cup, that catch that shouldn't have been a catch. Um,
That was really, 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 really close.
but like the hidden yards battle from that situation, like okay, now here we go. It's a restart
mm-hmm.
of where everything is going to be at. And it's just
Yeah.
a lot of punts, a lot of punts.
Yeah. So the two things that stuck out to me the most through both phases of the game, lack of separation from the Patriots offense. I feel like a lot of Drake May's problems outside of the offensive line was that the receivers just weren't getting open. That Seahawks secondary was blanketing them. They had them
Yeah,
strapped. It was every like Madden animation you expect from DBs. They should have been able to use it, like the strap, the DBU, all that fun stuff.
it's
Those
like
Seahawks DBs had them clamped.
I was like yelling the whole game. I was like, Drake, get the ball away. Drake, get the ball away. Drake, get the ball away.
But
But
they were
when you
never
look
open.
down, if you look down, it's like they weren't open. So
Yeah.
it's like those DBs really allow those D line. Like we're all talking about, oh, the D line, the D line, the D line.
Mm-hmm.
But those DBs, man, they helped out the D line because
Mm-hmm.
they're giving more time for them to get to the quarterback with a,
Yeah.
a young offensive line.
It was a game of a unit as a unit. It wasn't like, oh, if you get to the defense, if the defensive line gets to the quarterback fast, that really helps the defensive backs. Well, the defensive backs were also clamping, so it was just a conglomeration of, oh crap, what the heck am I supposed to do? Like usually defenses are one or the other, but this Seahawks defense was both, and they were both in a lot.
And
um,
how, if you're Josh McDaniels, do you not prepare for that?
I was surprised there weren't more over the middle routes. Like cuz it looked like there was quite a bit of man coverage because of all the blitzes they were running. You got to use more short routes. They were trying to go deep a lot more than they should have, especially with that lack of
Get the ball
separation.
out of Drake's hands
But
quick with some short yardage routes.
mhm,
Like, let's run some quick out floods, get him out of the pocket really quick. Like, your kind of high school level plays where you're just moving guys out, you're pulling, you have this block assignment to help you out, where you can get out of the pocket and
yeah.
create the flood routes downfield. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts do it all the time, with just that system where they're getting the ball out quick
Yeah.
and we didn't see any of that besides that one drive by
Mhm.
Matt Collins where he had probably the only receiving yards of the game
Yeah.
in that
I
one drive.
I was expecting more oh, I lost it. Like confidence building throws, at least going into that second half, and it didn't happen
Yeah.
until the fourth quarter. The other thing that stood out to me was that Seahawks punter. He was stellar as well. We mentioned earlier that
Mm,
it's been a Seahawks. It was a defense and a special teams game, and the Seahawks punter was phenomenal. I don't know how many yards he had punted, but that man was, I think, within. He was in the red zone every punt, if I'm not mistaken, and he
he was in his
really,
own.
really helped that
He
Seahawks
had
offense that also couldn't. Or
7 punts for a total of 335 yards. 3 punts were down inside the Patriots 6 yard line. He had a 55-yard punt, and his average punt was 47.9 yards per punt. I feel like that was neglected because of the times where he was on his 30-yard line
yeah,
and he couldn't really punt it fully.
yeah, that's one thing that they don't tell you about. Is like, well, maybe there's probably a stat from somewhere like average punt start. That's probably start punt
Yeah.
yard line, what have you. Um, but regardless, he was dotting them up, punt dot after punt dot after punt dot, which allowed Mike McDonald to even open up that defensive playbook even more and just rain it upon
Which
Drake May.
Saturday he was still putting in schemes and throwing something. So I'm interested to see when he put the scheme in for Devin Witherspoon to beamline like that.
A
When did they
missile.
put that in the system? Was that a Saturday thing or was that oh,
Yeah.
we saw this a few weeks ago and we want to do that? But like if he saw that on Saturday and put that in and they executed it,
I might have to watch more
Props to
Seahawks
them.
next year because if they played like that all year, then I missed out.
I
Um,
watched them 3 times this
yeah. Our next spot was is what was your oh wow from the game? Like you mentioned earlier, one of mine was Christian Gonzalez. Just all three of his pass breakups coming in like the biggest points of the game. He was clamping down Jackson Smith and Jigba. Of course, he was out for a quarter and a half, maybe two. But outside of that, he couldn't really do much. And then Devin Witherspoon coming off the edge like a rocket, like probably twice, three times a drive, was always fun to watch. It was fun for me to like diagnose, okay, is this going to be a blitz or are they just faking it? Most of the time it was a blitz. This was probably the first Super Bowl I tried to be like analytical with, like see what I can see with the camera angle they give me. It's obviously not the best camera angle in terms of like film study or anything like that, but it was definitely fun to try and decipher and try to be an NFL quarterback for on my couch.
year. Touchback.
Yeah.
That's what we call
Uh,
them. I guess my wow factor, which is again the D line from the Seahawks, but
mm,
really it's just like Stephon Diggs was not a factor at
yeah.
all. And then the fight that happened and there wasn't a
That was
flag thrown.
pathetic. That was so bad.
I was like, wow, like we really are letting these guys play. And like I get it, but you can't let people play in the Super Bowl, but then not let them play the rest of like the whole beginning of the year. Like
That was
I've seen
bad.
the past 3 or 4 Super Bowls where there's not very many penalties. It's
Mm,
just like, but yet there's penalties in all the other games that we're watching where there's like a flag in almost every play.
yeah.
Like last year, there wasn't a lot of holding penalties. The year before that, there wasn't a lot of holding penalties. And there could be a holding penalty called at least on once every drive for each team. And we're
Yeah.
not seeing that, but yet we're seeing that on the
Monday
regular
Night
season
Football.
games and the
Yeah.
playoffs games. We're seeing that all the time. Like
Yeah.
we got to be more, if we're going to let them
Consistent.
play in the big game, you got to let them play everywhere else.
Yeah. So Stephon Diggs' final stat line was 3 catches, 3 targets, 37 yards. So yeah, 6.7 fantasy points if you run PPR. Our next section in the red zone. What was your favorite part of the game? If you don't have a favorite off the top of your head, I will happily talk about mine.
I guess my favorite part of the game
Don't steal mine.
was probably like beginning seeing Fred and Kyle,
Oh,
like
you're so
just
lame.
like
That's not the
just like
game. That's pregame.
seeing them talk about Sam because like and then after the game, Sam talking about like okay, his career really like took off to a whole nother level when he got out of New York.
Mm.
Um
Yeah,
and just learning and then I mean he learned from the Niners, but just like hearing the stories about Sam and just like okay, this kid he's got determination and he's been doubted. Did he do it on his own? Absolutely not. But just hearing him talk about just the stories and stuff is probably my favorite part. Just hearing the character side of a football player.
yeah. Me was the Matt Collins touchdown catch. That was the exclamation point in the film of the entire game. If you put the entire game in just little runner, and there was like little bookmarks of when there was a big play. That's like the biggest one. That one had to be like red, blue, all the colors. I don't care. That was where okay, this is a game. Because before that, it was just a kickoff or a field goal, kickoff, punt, all that fun stuff. But that solidified that hey, these Patriots are still in this, and that explosive plays that they were known for all season, that's still there. They're just struggling to get there. And
I
in
mean,
order for the Patriots to have won this game, they needed the explosive plays, and for them to whip those out back to back, because I think it was a Stephon Diggs catch before that, and then the Mac Hollins catch,
and
phenomenal.
then another.
And that pass was beautiful. That it was in the basket. You could not have put that anywhere else. That DB was just blanketed over him. Matt Collins with a great catch. Even if he's a barefoot weird fella, he is a great catch. That was a great catch. He's a role player, but he will forever go down in Super Bowl history with one of the best catches. in at least in my
I mean,
Super Bowl history
I would
mindset.
say the AJ Barner catch, the first touchdown was
That
like,
one was also really good.
"Yay,
That was
we
also
got a
really good.
touchdown!"
Yeah.
And I took the over on 11 and a half being the number of the first touchdown.
Mm.
So there was a number on that.
Like yardage
And it
wise.
no, by the player number.
Oh. Oh, I see.
So it was at 11 and a half. So JSN, Kenneth Walker,
Yeah.
Cooper Cup, Stephon Diggs, like all those guys would have been under. I took the over in hopes that it would have been a running back from the Patriots to get the first one, and then Barner got it. But it's cool for me because he's an IU guy, former Indiana
Mm.
tight end. He went to two different schools after leaving Indiana, but back in the days with uh, Jack Tuttle as his quarterback. If you're
Yeah.
an true IU football fan out there, you would know who that
Yeah.
is.
I'm not. So Fernando Mendoza. But I would say the AJ Barner touchdown catch was oh yay, like what you said, yay touchdown. The Mac Hollins touchdown was oh crap, that's a touchdown. This is a ball game. Um,
Yeah.
so our last spot in the red zone section is should Kenneth Walker win MVP or should it have been somebody else? Um, I think it definitely should have been Kenneth Walker. He was the
Yes.
only like functioning gear on both sides of the both offenses. He was
For the
the
whole
only
game.
one that was consistent up until this game. Now this is a player that I will submit a formal apology to. Kenneth Walker, I was not familiar with your game.
He went
Not
nuts against the
only
Niners.
are you a great
He
running
went
back,
nuts against the 49ers, and then he went nuts in the Super Bowl.
yeah. That man's quads also they're up there. Like I'm not to be weird,
Saquon
but
Barkley, someone's coming for your
one of the
someone's coming
first
for your
things
quad, dude.
I noticed was he's got a dumper on him. That's the kind of running back that I need running in my Super Bowl. If I want a chance to win the Super Bowl, my running back's got to have a dumper on him. That's what my DB's
Oh
coach always
goodness.
talked about too, because he was also the running back coach. Um, but the only other options were really Devin Witherspoon and Jason Myers because Jason Myers scored the most points. And Devin Witherspoon opened it up for that defense so many times with his blitzes because he was just so effective. But I think Kenneth Walker had to be the guy because of how he just kept the momentum swinging in the way of the Seahawks. And that passing game was not going anywhere. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
completely agree there as well. Just like Walker just he was steady. I think you could look at maybe Barner, because early in the game he was keeping drives going,
yeah.
and then that touchdown was really like, hey, okay, we're opening it up a little bit, but
Mhm.
definitely Walker just because he was consistent throughout the whole game.
Yeah. Okay. Our last section of this episode, we have our bets. If you tuned into our preview, we listed off some bets. I don't remember all of them. Are we're talking about the ones that was like the
The
our
the prop
parlay?
bets.
Okay. Yeah.
We got
So
parlay and then props.
yeah. So my props, I participated in the props section of this. I hit the over on the sacks. That hit in like almost the first half. Um, as I kind of called that. The one that didn't hit with my other prop was a touchback for the punts. I didn't anticipate their punter being that guy, but there was one that landed on like the 1 yard line.
I
So
was
I
cheering
was I
for
was
you.
right there, dude. I was right there for being 2 for 2 after going an entire season of sucking it up. But if you cashed
Um,
out on that Sacks one, there you go.
my props, I went with 2.5 or over 2.5 players to throw a pass. We did not see really any trick plays at all,
No, there wasn't.
which
It
was
was
kind of weird.
surprising.
And then my other prop, what I know I took
The other
a
one
my
was
way out there
a
was
Kenneth
a kick
Walker.
return.
You had a Kenneth Walker 2.5
Oh, Kenneth
receptions.
Walker over 2.5 catches, and he dropped one to put him at three. He was stuck at two. Or no, that was part of our parlay. That was part of our parlay.
Hold on, I got it open. Um, Seahawks to have more combined rushing and receiving yards than the
Oh,
Patriots. Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was easy.
Kenneth Walker had that.
Yeah, that was easy. And then my way out there was a kick return touchdown, which I was screaming and hoping for, which didn't happen. But if you stayed to the later part of that episode when I said the Gatorade color would be yellow or green,
You said
greenish
green.
yellow at plus 275, you would have cashed out on that as well.
You said lime green plus 275.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, those were our bets, our props, our parlay. I
Parlay was
lied.
terrible.
Yeah, per usual. We're coming in hot next year. Trust the process. So I partially lied. We have one more spot in our final episode of the season. Way too early Super Bowl 2027 champion. I have a dark horse fun one, so I want to see what you have to say.
You know who I'm going with,
Are you going to say
dude.
the Niners?
Dude, then all right, if we figure out our practice facility situation, you realize we just had our arch rival win the Super Bowl in our stadium? We're coming different next year. Kyle Shanahan, Fred Warner, they all sat there and watched the Seahawks right in front of them win the Super Bowl. The Niners are coming different next year. Different. We can stay healthy. Big if. A really, 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 really big if. But if we can stay healthy, then 49ers will be Super Bowl contenders and have a chance and will win the 2027 Super Bowl in, I believe it's Los Angeles, where, guess what? That's our second home. We bring more fans to Rams games than the Rams do.
Dude, everybody does.
Why not win? Why not win a Super Bowl in your other rival stadium? Because your rival did it to you.
If you or a
49ers will
loved
win the Super Bowl.
one, if you or a loved one has been diagnosed with this kind of delusion, please call the hotline down below. Um, no, you've got two hosts that are delusional about their own teams. I'm not that delusional, trust me.
Yeah, you have
Um,
the first overall pick. If you think you're gonna win the Super Bowl,
I
you're
mean,
nuts.
the Commanders went to the conference championship with Jaden Daniels, so it's not that crazy. Um, they're in, I just don't want the Raiders to do that. So, my way too early Super Bowl champion is the Jacksonville Jaguars. You give Travis Hunter a healthy season, somebody who's probably been forgotten about. You Travis Etienne comes back. That offense looked fantastic late in the season. You get that defense rolling again. I don't think they've
Pretty
lost
much.
anybody. I think they've got all their coaches back. Give them another draft to fill in some extra holes. Maybe figure out what's happening with Brian Thomas Jr. Give him a offseason to get his head screwed back on right. Get some secondary players back in that draft. Man, I could see them running the AFC next year. Let Trevor Lawrence actually play the way we expected him to 5 years ago. And let's not
Um,
forget, they almost beat the Bills. And that defense, again, it was gnarly. It was a great defense. They almost
yeah,
beat the Bills. And I would reckon that they could probably have beat the Patriots if they went and beat the Bills. They could have destroyed so many people's
I'm told Bo
playoffs.
Nix being hurt is going to be the biggest what if in Broncos history.
Oh, wow. Broncos were not doing anything. I even forgot they were there. That offense was not winning them a championship. Get out of here with that garbage. I'll give you the biggest what if. I don't have one, actually. I lied. Anyways,
Fernando Mendoza being a bust. No.
no, let's not even talk about that. You don't even want that. You're an IU guy. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl. Hope you guys learned something in this episode. Maybe you didn't realize that something was happening and we broke it down. That's why you tune into this podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that fun stuff. We will have some fun episodes coming at you guys later this week, but I believe we're taking next week off as a little bye week to fully jump into the off season for the following week, bringing you more fun episodes, possible team rebuilds throughout the draft. drafting teams from the draft, if that makes any sense. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned for you guys, and we hope you guys join us throughout this offseason to get you guys really ready for the 2026 NFL season so you guys, along with us, can truly know ball and school all your buddies and be like, hey, how do you know this much ball? It's the DD Podcast, guys. Got us. We got you. See you guys then. Peace.